Hi and welcome back to the channel. We're going to look again at this Hudson water tank that my eldest son has been building. So there's both of us here again. You can probably see extra fingers. So if you remember last time, Toby had been telling us about how he'd built the tank, and we were discussing how we were going to do the tank top. If you remember, it's built from one of these covers from inside an IKEA cupboard. They cover over the screw when you put it to the wall, don't they? So yeah, so we finished this, didn't you? Well, you finished it. So you go on.
We've flattened this down, cut some of this metal off here. Then we've basically stuck it on. But before we stuck it on, we drilled some holes in. That took us forever though. And
yeah,
then
my little handheld drill bits aren't very sharp, are they?
And then we put a piece of wire on here, if you can see, and then we've painted it.
Yeah, so you glued the whole thing on, didn't you? And then you painted the tank, spray painted the tank grey, while it was separate from everything else. So it was nice and easy to paint the whole thing grey.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then basically it was just it was assembling and doing the details on it. So the other details you can see all three. Don't pull me.
The handle here.
Yeah.
The top bit. We've done the bit where the water comes out at the bottom, and then we've done these metal bits here. Oh.
Yeah. So can you remember how we built these metal bits?
By bending them.
Yeah. So I did experiment a little bit, and then Toby made some of them up. Essentially, they're the same metal as the tank side. They're just kind of offcuts the tank. So I cut a piece that was the right height, folded it in half at 90 degrees. I used the Holden fold for that, didn't we, and a razor blade. If you don't have one of these, I'll see if I can find a link to where I bought this. They're really good for holding small parts and making really nice curves. This one's not big enough to do the tank sides, unfortunately, because of the way the bolt is and how you have to hold it. But for these little pieces, it was great. And then the bolts. Well, how did we do the bolts?
Cut pieces of wire and then paint them and then super glue them on.
Yeah, so they weren't wire, was it? It was plastic rods. So it was some thin styrene rod, and we just used a scalpel, didn't we? And you just cut tiny little bits off the end of the rod, essentially dipped them in super glue, and then stuck them onto the metal. Yeah. And then when it was dry, all the bits of metal got spray painted. They are a bit fiddly to make up, and you'll notice that they're not necessarily all identical. We just went with the best we could. So the problem is that they are fixed flat to the wood piece, aren't they? But they fixed the chassis where the chassis is already curling. I don't know if you can see that. So we folded the metal in half, but then we used a set of pliers to essentially bend the bottom piece back where it would fit against the chassis, so it would fit perfect. There's a few vagaries in the size, so obviously cutting these things out by hand, we didn't necessarily get each one of them identical, did we? We didn't necessarily get the fold in the middle, and we didn't get the fold at the bottom identical on all of them either. But I think, you know, in general, certainly when viewed from a distance, that end looks better than the other end, but they look pretty good. Yeah. I did notice as well, we've got at least one here where, I don't know if you can see that on the camera. Can you see that by eye, Toby? This bottom bolt, instead of being the rod top on end, it's on its side. Yeah. So it's a little bit of kind of rod laid on its side instead of stood up. You can see the others are stood up on end, so they got a nice circular profile. That one's laid down, but I don't think it really matters. No. But yeah, so once you'd made up all the little details, it was just gluing it together, wasn't it? Really. So can you tell people which order we did things in?
So we did that bit, and then we drilled these bits and bent the wire, painted that, stuck that on. Then we did these brackets on the side, and then we've done the handle, the pipe underneath with the bolts.
Move it across so you can see it under the camera. Yeah.
With the bolts here where it loops over, and then.
So yeah. So what I was suggesting though was the order that you glued things on. So if you remember from the last video, we had just the flat wagon, didn't we? So you glued the tank on first, didn't you? Yeah. And to try and avoid getting super glue everywhere, all we did was we put a little bit of glue along the edge of the tank. In fact, not on the tank, did we? We put it on the. Did we put it on the deck, didn't we? We spread a little bit of glue on the deck, on the very edge of the deck, just along the middle section here, where it wouldn't be noticed if it ran anywhere, and then glued the tank on. And then these end panels, these end pieces of wood are glued to the tank, aren't they? and then we glued on the brackets, and yeah, so the bracket to hold on the pipe is essentially done the same as the end ones. It's another piece of strip and some styrene. The pipe is actually, it's a bit tricky to see. We've managed to hide it quite well, but it's not actually one piece, as it were. So it's a piece of pipe, and then there's a piece of bent rod that's almost the same diameter pushed into the pipe. So from the front, it's an open pipe. Looks like water comes out, but it bends nicely and has a nice curl, because obviously if you try and bend a pipe, it just squishes, doesn't it? So yeah, so that worked, and yeah, the handle is rod and just comes underneath and is glued on. And then there was a quick waft of varnish over the top, wasn't it? So we try and don't damage the paint. But yeah, so are you happy with it?
Yep.
I think it's really, really super. I'm hoping that his teacher thinks it's super as well when he takes it in for his homework, which the plan for that is today. I don't think I'll be able to necessarily take any photos or videos of you showing it in school, because there'll be too many other children around and things like that. But we might do another, we'll see, we might do another video where we talk about what happened, don't we? We'll see. But the plan is that we're going to take this in, we're going to take in the tipper wagon, we're going to take in the battery electric loco that Toby built, not last Christmas, the Christmas before, really, wasn't it? It's a while ago now. And some temporary track into school, and Toby is going to set it up in the hall, and he's going to show it to his class and the class below him, because they're both doing the same underground mining topic this term, aren't they? You have to say yes, you can't nod. But I'm going to go in partly so that I can help look after things and help him set up, and he can use my phone for the remote control and stuff. But also they missed out. They were going to go to the mining museum at Cap House Colliery this term, weren't you? Yeah. But because the underground tours have been cancelled because the staff have been on strike, they're now back at work. But it was too late, I think, to reorganise the trip, wasn't it? So the trip was cancelled. So they've been a bit short of stuff. So what I offered was, I'm going to take in, sorry, I'm going to take in some of, possibly some of the other models, but also I'm going to take in like the original Hudson catalogue I have, and show them the other kind of things that might have been ordered for use in mine work and things like that. So just give them a little bit of something else to look at, given that they missed out on a trip and seeing some of these things in real life. I don't know how interesting class will find that, but we'll see. I don't know how well it'll go down. But yeah, so as I say, we might come back with a quick update on how that went. But if not, yeah, thanks for watching, and hopefully you've enjoyed seeing Toby work through building this, and you've enjoyed doing it. Yep. So do we have any plans on what we're going to build next?
No.
Well, you want to build another flat wagon, don't you? So you can see the actual deck. Yeah. But we'll have to see whether we want any more wagons or whether we need to build another locomotive together. We'll have to see what we think of. If anybody has any ideas of what he should build, then please do leave a comment, and we'd like to read those, won't we? Yeah. Okay. So that's it for now. So thanks for watching. Bye.
Bye.